Disclaimer. Please check your playback settings. Ensure you are listening to this podcast at normal speed. Unless you want us to sound drunk. Then play at half speed. Thank you.
Meanwhile, at the Firepit headquarters...
Oh, Reddit. You're never not right. Ooh, hey, you guys remember when we interviewed that superhero for the podcast a long time ago?
Hang on. Yes. What was his name again?
Enforcer, the superest of all the superheroes. Why? What about him?
Well, apparently he's going through a bit of a rework.
Is this a rework or a reboot? There's a difference. Reddit told me so.
It's kind of a... Well, after his most recent outings have ended in disappointment, and after talking with his marketing team, he has decided that a lighter, more down-to-earth approach was needed.
Yeah, that would be good. I mean, he's usually really high up, too, so that helps. That joke's funny, I don't care who you are. I do have a question, though. He'll, like smile in his photos, and, the cavalier attitude he has towards killing people. I mean, casualties. I mean, dead people.
That would be a nice change. I mean, I like the more colorful costume and such.
People do not want your stupid, corny cartoon animals and unfunny jokes every 5 seconds.
Wait, so why are all these people angry?
Oh, that's a whole thing. His marketing team just don't really understand who Enforcer is, and the people who liked that version of him are upset he wants to change.
Did they run a billboard truck?
Josh, just ignore them. It's very easy to tune them out with distractions.
Distractions, you say? Like?
Yeah,
let's watch a movie, guys.
Hey, you guys want to hear something cool?
Yeah.
Did you know that on Wednesdays, Pizza Hut has a buy one, get one on their wings?
Oh, yeah, I knew that, yeah.
Yeah. But you know what distinguishes them from, Buffalo Wild Wings? Is that when you order a 12-piece wing, and you get a buy one, you bought one and you get one free, they don't actually give you one free, and they only give you 12 wings.
Oh, well, that doesn't sound like a good deal at all, actually.
No, I was honestly surprised. I was expecting, I know you got to mix it up. You can't do the exact same thing, but honestly, hey, good for Pizza Hut. That's how you do business.
I'm sensing sarcasm.
Loads of it.
This episode not brought to you by Pizza Hut, by the way.
Remember the old times when we were do fake advertisement for Coca-Cola and Pizza Hut? I think we need to bring that back now. Pizza Hut, you order 12 rings, we'll give you a fuck you.
Exactly.
Oh, sweet. Pizza Hut has a buy one, get one free on their wings on Wednesday nights. That's great. Yeah, but do you know what's really great about their BOGO nights? Well, you buy one and you don't get one free. Isn't that amazing?
We call it Fuck Off Wednesday.
Yes. If you don't get shit, fuck you in this economy.
We call it Fuck Off Wednesday, so fuck off.
Remember that one time I got a pizza and instead they shit in a bag and left it on my front porch? Oh, man, Pizza Hut, they know how to go the extra mile for their customers.
Making it great.
You stop and smell the pizza?
Oh, God.
I'm keeping that in. Josh, you want to carry on with this?
Yeah.
Do I want to carry... Guys, look, up in the sky. Bots, listeners, it's a bird. It's a plane. It's another super episode of The Firepit. And I'm Josh, hero name Numbers. And welcome back to another special episode of our once glorious podcast. We do have a treat in store for you as we break down and discuss another current film as of this recording, making its way through the box office right now. So we won't be watching a movie this episode because, well, we've already watched it. But do you guys want to watch it again? I mean, I'm totally down for that. But this episode is going to be like Deadpool and Wolverine, or The Flash, or Cocaine Bear, or other episodes that we've done in the past where we've already seen the movie, and then we'll discuss what we're watching. Tom will tell you more of that, so I will send this super message to Tom.
Thank you, Numbers. Tom here, hero name Funny Bone. And last time out, Jesus, was it Die Hard? Has it really been Christmas since we last got together?
From the audience's perspective, yes.
Great Caesar's Ghost.
I got that reference.
Thank you, Josh. Professionals. That's way too long, and I blame Dan for it.
Long.
Yes.
Okay, now we mute Josh.
This wasn't a water. Go.
We knew it wasn't a water.
White Claw Wednesdays. Welcome back. Well,
Brought to you by Pizza Hut. Sorry, go.
Well, last time out, we all watched Die Hard together, but we all saw this movie separately last weekend and are getting together now to discuss it. Now.
You added the second now. It is not in the script. I'm looking right at it.
Hey, Josh gets to improv. I get to improv. So now that movie is now...
For Superman!
Let me say the line, Josh. And that movie is... I really feel like Josh should say it.
Superman!
God damn it. Yes, that's right, Josh. Superman.
Superman!
We think
I'm so sorry, guys. I do not know what has come over me. It's Superman. That's what it is. I'm excited. Keep going.
I can tell. Yes, that's right. Superman. The new one, obviously, since we've already watched the 78 Superman way back in episode 39. Don't worry, though. This isn't a sequel. And for more than and our run... Wait, what?
Oh, shit. It's supposed to be more on that. My bad.
And more...
Really? So you can add 2 or 3 nows into a sentence, but you can't just see, you probably should have said on that one. Okay, never mind. I got it, though. I rewrote it, so go ahead and do it
Dan,
again.
this is your fault. You wrote the script. Did you not edit this damn thing?
I'm not editing this damn thing, that's for sure.
I will have our audience know, and it is painfully obvious, that I do not use ChatGPT to write our scripts. I actually type the damn things out.
God help us. Don't worry, though, this isn't a sequel. And for more on that and our rundown, I'll bring in the Enforcer.
Thank you, Tom. Enforcer here. Secret identity, Dan. And yeah.
Wait, what? Wait. Oh my God! Dan? You were the Enforcer the whole time?
No, it's different Enforcer, Tom. Different Enforcer. I mean, look, Dan's got a goatee.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. There's no way Dan would shave his goatee. Nah. Go on, Dan.
Jesus Christ. We're losing. We're going to lose, 3 fans we got left. So, yeah. Tonight we're watching Superman, or we've already watched it, so we're going to discuss Superman, the new look of the DCU, and proper fire pit conversation. But first, on to the film. Superman stars David Cornsweet, and it is Cornsweet, Josh. I looked it up today online, and it's Cornsweet. So I was right, you were wrong. Anyways,
dude, okay, I'm just let me preface this. I thought it was pronounced corn sweet because that's why somebody on Reddit told me to say it, like when he first got cast. I've never actually heard him say it, but everybody does introduce him as Corn Sweat.
Yeah, and I figured he'd correct him by now. So
I don't know, dude, Superman. He probably doesn't give a fuck.
Anyways, so Superman stars David Cornsweet, Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Hoult, Nathan Fillion, and Eddie Gathegi, or Gathegi, I think his name is pronounced. I cannot remember how to pronounce his last name after all that debate on Cornsweet. Anyways, so has a release date of July 7th in LA at the TCL Chinese Theater, but the overall release was on July 11th, 2025, had a budget of $225 million, current box office standings as of this recording of $426.3 million and counting.
So it's made its budget, and then some.
Yeah. It has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 83%, critic score 92%, audience score, and an IMDb rating of 7.6 out of 10. So yeah, it's currently, I believe, the second highest rated Superman movie on Rotten Tomatoes. I still think 78 is a little bit higher, but considering the last two Superman films were Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, which I think had a... Actually, I just want to check real quick and make sure my numbers are right. So Rotten Tomatoes was 57% for Man of Steel, and Batman v Superman, if you count that as a Superman movie, which I do, is 28% on Rotten Tomatoes. So yeah, though DC will happily take an 83% Superman movie right now. That's very much a win for them. So
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's practically Citizen Kane for them. Holy cow!
All right, so I'm looking at the IMDb reviews. So Superman 78 was 7.4 out of 10. Superman Returns was a 6.1.
Oof.
Man of Steel was a 7.1. And Superman 2025, 7.6. So it's the highest rated Superman movie out of the reboots, whatever, restarts. I'm not counting Superman 2, 3, 4, or Batman v Superman and Justice League. But I can tell you without looking, it's higher rated.
Suck it, Snyder Bros. Suck it.
yeah, I didn't even check the scores for like Justice League. I know the Justice League cut has an abysmal less than 50% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and the Snyder cut has a somewhat respectable 70-some%, but it's not that much better. It really isn't. It's just longer.
Yeah, we're just stacking corpses at this point.
Yeah, we will have plenty of time to talk about the other Superman films versus this one at another later point, maybe in the recording. But for now, I'll go over some trivia stuff that I do have for the movie. I did, yeah, some pretty good stuff. One of them was Nicholas Hoult, who plays Lex Luthor in the movie, auditioned and really, really, really wanted the part of Superman. And for those of you who can't really see him as Superman because he's bald in the movie, he also played Beast in the X-Men reboot movies or soft reboot movies. And so I can see him. I could have seen him as Superman. Like if he'd have kept the hair and all that, I could have seen Nicholas Hoult as Superman. But he auditioned, but he ultimately didn't get the part. James Gunn cast him as Lex instead. Hoult was actually really happy to get the part of Lex Luthor and holds no ill will or animosity towards Corn Sweat. In fact, they actually became really good friends while making the film, but he used his initial disappointment in not landing the role to channel Lex's jealousy of Superman in the movie.
Nice.
I should be wearing the cape. It should have been me!
Yeah. He said he was disappointed for, a couple minutes, but then he got cast as Lex, and he's like, okay, cool, I'll be Lex Luthor.
Did you watch I just want to tangent off this a little bit, but did you ever watch one of the promos that they were doing where it was David Cornsweet and Nicholas Hoult? They were asking each other questions on a lie detector.
Mm-mm.
And one of the questions what David asked Nicholas was, when we were doing scenes together, at any point did you feel like you could have done it better?
Oh, dick question. Oh.
Last but not least on Lex is that this is the 5th Superman movie to feature Lex as the main villain. He is the main bad guy in Superman, Superman 4, Superman Returns, Batman v Superman, and this one, Superman 2025. He's been left out of 3 and Man of Steel, though in Superman 2 he has a small role as a secondary antagonist. So you can't make a Superman movie really without Lex Luthor as it would seem.
I mean, not a good one, anyways.
Yeah, I do hope when they do the sequel to this film that he has a different villain. I'd like to see one of Superman's other villains portrayed on the big screen correctly.
Yeah, because really, I mean, with the exception of Zod, Zod was made for Superman too.
You can count Doomsday in Batman v Superman, but he's not really the Doomsday. He's just kind of a reanimated Zod corpse with steroids. So yeah. I mean, and maybe Darkseid in the Snyder cut of Justice League.
Well, that wasn't Darkseid. That was Steppenwolf.
No, Steppenwolf's the bad guy that they fight, but Darkseid's the overall big bad. But,
yeah, well, he's the puppet master.
But anyways, we've had Superman movies, and we have yet to see Parasite, Brainiac, Metallo, Bloodsport. I think another one. So yeah. I like to see some of his other villains make an appearance once in a while.
Yeah. Change up the menu a little bit.
Yeah. Anyways, enough about Lex, though. This one I found was awesome. David Cornsweet's grandfather is Edward Packard, author and creator of the Choose Your Own Adventure series of children's books.
Oh, no shit.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I did not know that until I was looking that up the other day. His grandfather is Edward Packard. He created the Choose Your Own Adventure books, which I read all the time when I was a kid, and I always kept my thumb on one of the pages just in case the choice I made was a bad one. I can go back and make the other one. So.
Well, if you knew that as the answer, turn to page 72. See, that's how you do a joke there, Josh. That's how you make it land.
That did not land, Tom.
It did not. And then just a couple more things. I want to shout these trivia things out because they are about the state that we call home. The Hall of Justice was shot at the Cincinnati Union Terminal, which was used as the model for the Hall of Justice in the Super Friends 1973 cartoon. One of the interior Hall of Justice scenes actually shows a sign that says 2 trains with an arrow to further pay homage to the building's original function. They did do some different work on the interior of it. There's a mural inside of the World War II era Justice Society. So
Ooh.
I saw it the second time I watched the movie. You can see the World War II Mr. Terrific, looks like a Hawkman. And it looked like the Alan Scott Green Lantern was in that mural too. Yeah, so Union Terminal, like I said, it's in Cincinnati. Those of us who live in the area know that it's the basis for the Hall of Justice from the Super Friends cartoon and has been the Hall of Justice ever since. But people who don't live in this state might not know that. But there's a Comic-Con in Cincinnati every year, and hundreds of cosplayers flock over to the Union Terminal to go take pictures in front of the Hall of Justice.
Now, can you actually go in the building?
Yeah,
Like, as a tourist?
Yeah, you can actually go into the building. It's a museum. Like, I've been in it several times. So, like, when they were doing the interior scenes in the movie, I could tell what they removed digitally from the interior of the Union Terminal. And I did hear that when they were showing the movie in certain theaters in Cincinnati, when they finally got to the scene with the Hall of Justice, that the audience would applaud because that was the Union Terminal in Cincinnati.
I'm not going to lie. The audience in my theater also applauded when they showed up.
Yep.
It's like, we know that building.
Yep. And like I said, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster were 2 Jewish authors living in Cleveland, Ohio. They're the creators of Superman. David Cornsweet is the first Jewish actor to play Superman on screen.
No shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I did.
Yeah. But that's most of what I got for trivia. I don't want to drone on and on and on. I think I already have. So, Josh, I know the movie's still ongoing, so we probably don't have a definitive box office yet, but do you have anything for us for the numbers?
Oh, I've got quite a bit, actually.
Cool.
Let me ask you guys real quick. Of all of the Superman movies, which had the best opening? Domestic weekend.
Ooh, if we're including international, I'm going to say Man of Steel.
Domestic.
Okay, domestic. I'm still going to say Man of Steel.
All right, Nigel?
I think it might be Man of Steel.
So, Man of Steel's opening weekend was $116 million. Superman 2025's domestic weekend was $125 million.
Oh, so this one actually won. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Suck it again, Snyder Bros.
But then I think Man of Steel also opened on a Wednesday, and yeah. So anywho, so far Superman is killing it in the box office. I want to say a little story. I remember following box office back in 2006 when Superman Returns came out. And I remember the producers was all saying, hey, we're going to make a sequel if this movie makes over $200 million. And Superman Returns hit $200 million on its 17th week of release. Its final domestic run was $200,069,408. It never got its sequel. Superman 2025, by the end of its second weekend, had made $236 million.
Now, are we adjusting for inflation here?
No, this is just raw dollars.
Yeah, and
raw dollar in it.
Also, Superman Returns got its ass kicked by Pirates of the Caribbean.
It did. It really did. Like, Superman Returns, let's see, its opening weekend, it made $52 million. If you consider it was a 4th of July weekend, if you consider that, it made $76 million. But it had almost a 60% drop after its first weekend. Man of Steel actually had a larger drop, 64%. And Superman 2025 had a 53% drop.
So it's not dropping as hard.
Because word of mouth, too. Remember, word of mouth on Superman Returns was that it's boring, and that's why a lot of people probably didn't go see it the second weekend. Also, Pirates of the Caribbean had just come out. The sequel. I think it was the sequel. I think it was it Dead Man's Chest?
Was it Dead Man's Chest 2006?
It was the second one, because, yeah, I remember that. It's like, Jesus Christ. That Superman stood no chance.
Yep, it was Dead Man's Chest.
Yeah, so it was Dead Man's Chest came out. And the first Pirates movie was insanely popular. And still really good. It's still a really good film.
Yeah, it had no right to be as good as it was.
Yeah, and the second film, also entertaining, but people hadn't seen it yet, but they were excited because it was the sequel to Pirates, which was a huge, successful movie. And like I said, word of mouth was that Superman Returns was
boring. Yeah.
Boring. Like, there's one good scene. That's the airplane scene.
Yeah, and Superman has like 5 lines in the movie. Either way, anyway, box office. So far, Superman 2025 is actually doing a really good job in the box office. It's let's see. I'm gonna pull in the international numbers here.
I am curious as to what the drop's going to be this weekend with Fantastic Four coming out.
I mean,
But-
I don't expect it's going to do what Pirates did to Superman Returns. Let's just say that.
No, but it's probably going to have I would say
Yeah, I
65%
think
to 70%.
I've been wrong before, but
Mhm.
I honestly think that Superman has. I think that Fantastic Four is probably going to beat it in the box office this weekend, but think that Superman has at least a bigger name than Fantastic Four.
Plus, again, word of mouth. People are like,
Yeah.
actually, it's pretty good. Optimistics, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
So let's see. Internationally, Superman has made $426 million. That includes domestic. So internationally, it's $173 million. So worldwide gross for Superman is $426 million. Man of Steel entire first run was $670 million. So it's got a little ways to go, but
Mhm.
it's already $40 million from Man of Steel's domestic gross.
And it could make that this weekend, even with Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Because we'll get into that with the expectations, but Superman, I think, is going to be, I don't know if it's going to be $1 billion movie or not, but I can definitely see it outgrossing Man of Steel worldwide.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah.
something happens catastrophic where the world just rips it out of theaters. Yeah, I think that's a pretty easy bet.
Yeah. But anyway, that's all I've got for box office. So, Thompson, what do you have for the production?
The production. Let me.
Starting my timer, by the way.
You're gonna need a bigger timer because I've got things to say about Superman: 2025.
Ba-ba-da-bum.
Tagline: Look up.
Da, da, da.
Every time you do this, it adds another 10 minutes to this talk. Summary.
Ba-ba-da-bum.
Summary! When Superman gets drawn into conflicts at home and abroad, his actions are questioned, giving tech billionaire Lex Luthor the opportunity to get the Man of Steel out of the way for good. Will intrepid reporter Lois Lane and Superman's four-legged companion Krypto be able to help him before it's too late? Spoiler alert, yes! Superman 2025 is written and directed by James Gunn and stars David Corenswet as Superman / Clark Kent. Is it Corenswet or just Cornsweat? Because I'm hearing.
Corin Sweat.
Oh, thank God, because I was hearing you say Cornsweat.
No, it's Corn Sweat.
Corn sweat.
Cornsweat.
However, Corn Sweat is a real thing. Anyways, go.
A very unfortunate name indeed. David Corenswet as Superman / Clark Kent, Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, and Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, and rounded about by a cavalcade of supporting characters and cameos that I'm sure we're going to get into later on as we discuss the movie. That's the basic production.
Hey, Tom, real quick. I'm going to go
Yes.
get a drink. Go ahead and continue.
And for anyone else that just wants to get a drink or skip on, you can skip on to
30 minutes.
So, for those who have been living on the planet Krypton for the past 100 years, who is Superman? Why is he such a big deal for fans? And why is there such a huge opinion about how he's portrayed? Well, a little history. Back before, well, as far back as there have been superheroes, there has been Superman. Created in 1938 by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, Superman is, by all accounts, the first superhero, if not the first character you think of when you hear the word superhero. Now,
That's more accurate. He's not really the first The Shadow, actually, the Phantom is the first superhero. Superman is the first one to be the archetype of what we think of as a superhero.
Right, exactly. I mean, you had like kind of an everyman secret identity. He had a cape. He had like superpowers upon superpowers. He had a no-kill rule. I mean, the whole package, what you think of as a superhero nowadays. While his beginnings were humble, I mean, just a really strong guy from space who jumped over buildings and...
All right, I'm back.
Josh.
Tom, still going? I knew I had time.
Just getting started. But while his beginnings were humble, really strong guy from space who jumped over buildings and punched gangsters, he swiftly evolved from just faster than a speeding bullet to truth, justice, and the American way. And to put it into perspective for our 2020s audience, Superman is to DC what Captain America is to Marvel. Heck, he was punching Adolf Hitler before Captain America made it cool. Like Captain America, Superman isn't just a hero, but a symbol of what a hero should be. So, of course, it's no surprise that he's had a few adaptations over the years, from cartoons to TV shows to 2 Broadway plays and movies. And Superman 2025, formerly known as Superman Legacy, until they just changed it to Superman, is the 12th Superman movie made, not counting the Justice League or cameos in other DCEU films, and is DC's hard reset of their cinematic universe, pivoting away from the mud and murky grimness of the quote-unquote Snyderverse, and returning to the bright and optimistic tones that comic book marks, such as us, have been clamoring for since the snap of 2013. So, who's in charge of making this movie brighter and more comic booky? Why, it's DC Studios, the comic book movie arm of Warner Brothers. And for this, they have tapped James Gunn as writer and director. James Gunn, formerly a horror movie director and known more for his cult classics like Romeo and Juliet and Slither, before getting the call from Marvel to helm Guardians of the Galaxy, then getting the call from Marvel to let him know he's fired, and then getting the call from DC for their The Suicide Squad. And then from there, DC just said, here, just do it all. Following the trend of past Superman films, Gunn has routed out his cast with mostly up-and-comers, such as David Corn and Sweat. I don't know why I wrote Corn Sweat in that one. Corn Sweat is the 17th person to portray Superman in live action, 18th if you include Nick Cage's cameo in the Flashpoint film, which we don't, because the film was horrible, and that was a terrible CG cameo.
Yeah, I don't count it. It doesn't count. It's not real.
The Flashpoint movie and Nick Cage Superman cannot hurt you. But before being tapped to wear the cape, the highest David Corn Sweat's career has gone is as a hunky heartthrob in Look Both Ways, and as Scott in 2024's Twisters, not Twister, Twisters. Were there 2 Twisters in that film, by the way, Josh? I never actually saw it.
There was more than one. There was technically more than one in the first one, so the first one was actually inaccurate.
So once again, Hollywood is getting it wrong. But where they are not getting it wrong is with their choice for Superman's Lex Luthor, and portraying the personification of every rich jackass who's ever blamed everyone else for their problems that they themselves caused is none other than Nicholas Hoult, Hollywood's current go-to for portraying dorky types such as Thomas Hutter in Nosferatu, and also playing the most punchable assholes imaginable, such as Tyler, the pretentious foodie from The Menu. God, I hated that character so much. I was so glad he got what was coming to him. But speaking of coming to him, what Superman would be complete without his Lois Lane? Now played by Rachel Brosnahan, whose biggest roles have been the TV series House of Cards and The Marvelous Mrs.
Maisel.
Oh, you know of that one.
I haven't seen it, but I've seen clips. She's amazing in it.
Oh, good on her. But her movies have been kind of mid-reviews. I think the highest rated have been The Courier and Spies in Disguise, which was an animated film where Will Smith's character is a spy that gets turned into a pigeon. That's an animated
Oh, is she in that one?
Yeah, I guess she's one of the female spies. I don't know. I actually forgot that film even existed until I was looking this up. But though only out for a few weeks as of this recording, the film has received mostly positive reviews, with IGN calling it entertaining and heartfelt, and Glenn Weldon of NPR's All Things Considered exclaiming, "It makes you want to cheer." That said, it's not without its detractors, with Jacob a Twig on IMDb lamenting, "Why have we gone silly in the movies?" And Jinex Dimnihai, I don't care if I'm pronouncing that right, writing, "If you know the goats scream from Thor, Love and Thunder, yeah, that's how bad the comedic timing feels on this."
That's a little harsh.
Mm-hmm.
Just a little bit. Notwithstanding, Superman has already been nominated for several awards, such as Most Anticipated Film by the 8th Astra Mid-Season Movie Awards, so very prestigious, and Best Summer 2025 Blockbuster Trailer at the 2025 Golden Trailer Awards. Ooh la la. But I'm sure there's more to come. So in summary, and to finally bring this to an end, Superman, not Legacy, is a Superman film that follows a Superman formula to make the most Superman film that a Superman can. So now that we know what all went into making this film, Josh, what were you expecting from the film before you ever saw it?
Well, first off, I was very interested. I really liked James Gunn's Super, so I was very interested to see the sequel to that, Superman. Anxious to see what the third one's going to be. They really didn't connect.
Josh,
Yep.
Josh, stop right now. Stop. All right, this is your last warning. All right.
Nobody's made that connection in any review that I have watched or read about, so I wanted to be the first.
You are. You can put that feather in your cap there, bud. Okay, you're first. Don't worry. No one else is running the race, so you're first. Okay.
You're goddamn right.
You're running unopposed, so congratulations, you won. So, moving on.
Okay, so expectations. Anybody who knows me knows that milk tastes better when I drink it out of a Superman glass. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously grew up in the 90s. My formative years was the 90s. Born in the 80s. Obviously, DC had its foray in the late 80s, early 90s. Superman has always been my favorite character. Always been anybody who's listened to this podcast probably knows that. He's always been my favorite superhero. And it's not because he's like super powerful. My favorite Superman stories are not the ones where he wins by using his fists. In fact, those are the ones I like the least. But when it comes to excitement for Superman movies, you could ask my wife. I was over the moon and I could not wait until Superman Returns. I would watch that fucking trailer on repeat. I remember I would work in mid-shift when I was stationed overseas, and that 1 minute and 20 whatever second trailer came out, and I would have that shit on repeat. I fucking loved Superman Returns up to its release. So if I was to gauge it, I would say like I had the most excitement for Superman Returns. I was super excited for Man of Steel, but it was just like, okay, it's Superman movie, whatever. And then the third trailer hit. And you can ask Dan. But once that third trailer hit, I was hooked. Like, literally, she had me by the dick and was pulling me into the back of the building.
Moving on.
So, I loved the hype for Man of Steel. And I was super excited for that movie. For this movie, now granted, actual reviews of the movie, I wasn't a huge fan of Superman Returns. I loved Man of Steel when I watched it. But on successive rewatches, I see more and more flaws in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say my excitement for Superman Returns was probably peak. It was the highest out of the three of these films.
Mm-hmm.
Excitement for Man of Steel was probably mid of the three, and my excitement for this film was low. Like, I was watching the trailers, I'm like, they're going to pack too much into it. But I would have to say, like, I was still excited because it was a Superman movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not have high expectations out of it, despite the fact that I was, like, over the moon for the previous two films. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't hyped for it, I guess you could say. I think hyped is the right word. I wasn't super hyped for it. I was going to go see it opening weekend. And the only reason I went to see it on a Thursday night instead of a Friday night was because I had to work reserve duty that weekend, and there was no way I was going to be able to go see that on a reserve weekend. So needless to say, I was excited for it, but I was not super excited for it, to use the phrase. So, Tom, what about you?
What about me? Oh boy.
Tom was super excited for this movie.
Like horny excited.
You guys, I was feeling something all right. You know me. I've been absolutely burnt out by the cape shit. You know, it's like
cape fatigue. You coined that, or I don't know if you coined it, but you used it when we talked The Flash.
Yeah, I was almost peak cape. Well, actually, no, I was peak cape fatigue by The Flash. Honestly, when they were talking about making a Superman film, you couldn't have paid me to care about it. But I tell you what, guys, once that first trailer came out, I mean, introducing your Superman getting Yamcha'd in the first 5 seconds of your trailer was certainly a choice, Gunn. Oh, way to really build your leaning tower of Pisa on sand, buddy. Good choice. really.
So you didn't think that was a good choice? So I'm hearing the sarcasm.
No, Josh! Watching Superman's corpse getting drugged by his dog through the icy fields of Antarctica? Why wouldn't I have been sold on this movie? No, 20 years ago, I would have sold my hand to get a Superman film. The last one we'd ever seen before that was Superman 4 Quest for Peace. And kid me had loved that. Adult me was very pissed at it. And I begged for a Superman film. And somewhere along the line, someone must have sold their hand because we finally got Superman Returns. And my God, like you were saying, Josh, I've never been more hyped for a film than I ever was with Superman Returns.
Oh my God, so much. Like, I was hard 24/7 up to the release of that movie.
Dan and I were walking around with permanent boners through the campuses. It was problematic, but so were every other geeks at the time. So it went by. And I've never had that hype. Superman Returns treated it like the second coming of Jesus, and we all came along with it. Not this one. This did not do it for me. With frumpy Superman looking outfit and Superdog, the only reason I was ever going to see the film was because I knew you two were going to see it. Otherwise, I just would have eventually watched it on streaming because it happened to be on and I needed to fold laundry, and I figured I might as well get around to it. The second trailer that came out, it got my hopes up a bit, but by that point it was just like, damn, this is done. I don't care if a man can fly. I got better things to spend my money and time on than one more cape shit film, even if it's Superman. You lost me with Man of Steel. Man of Steel snapped me. And really, this film was not gonna unsnap. That was my expectation. I was expecting this film to be a middling mess, trying too hard to make up for lost time thanks to the Man of Steel movies, and maybe with a great soundtrack because it's James Gunn, and James Gunn knows how to put a soundtrack in this film. I was expecting that, and not much else. Nigel, what about you?
I kind of mirror your thoughts on it a little bit, Tom. I was super excited when Superman Returns came out. And while the movie overall is a disappointment, the first 20 minutes of Superman Returns is pretty good. And I still think after such a long absence from the cinema, the first 20 minutes of Superman Returns was the perfect way to reintroduce that character for a modern audience. That scene where he saves the plane is awesome.
Fucking yes.
And that is 100%, how do I introduce Superman to someone who's never read a Superman comic and maybe has never seen any of the other movies? Boom. That's how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you do it. So, but everything after that scene is just boring.
Yeah.
It's a boring film. And also, like, I just rewatched it for a Superman rewatch for this episode, and the special effects are kind of shit in some scenes, like really bad. And like Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest holds up better. And it came out at the weekend after.
Accurate.
So I was super pumped for that film. I was really excited for Man of Steel because I was like, oh, we're finally going to get to see a modern Superman. Oh, Zod's the bad guy, so we're going to get to see Superman actually fight somebody on his level on the big screen. Holy shit, this is going to be awesome. And when I first saw the movie, full disclosure, I thought it was great. I loved Man of Steel. I thought it was great.
We all did.
Yeah, and then when I saw it for the second time, I started the thoughts started to creep in the back of my head, like, this wasn't as good as I remember it. And then you watch it again, you're like, this movie's got some flaws, and then you watch it like the fifth time, you're like, this is kind of a mid movie, It's like this is kind of mid.
Chrome had come up.
Yeah. You're just kind of like, this is kind of a mid movie. Like, you look at the Rotten Tomatoes score at like 57%, and you're like, oh, well, that's just a bunch of Marvel shills that can't accept the fact that DC also came out with a good film. And then you're like, no, that 57%, I think that's kind of accurate. That might be a little generous. So it's like, and then, Monkey's paw curls. Josh and I were like, oh, maybe Batman v Superman will make Man of Steel's plot better.
Yeah, no, it was Batman v Superman is going to come out, and it's going to make Man of Steel a better movie in retrospect.
Yeah. Because that did happen in Marvel. Like, I think Iron Man 3 is, on its own as a movie, not very good. Like, Iron Man 3 is not that good of a movie. But the two movies that came out after Iron Man 3 kind of make it a little bit better. Mm-hmm. Like, I think I think Avengers 2, which also isn't great, but Avengers 2 and then Captain America Civil War kind of make Iron Man 3 a little bit better. Like, by itself, it's not that good, but if you just count it as a chapter in a book, okay, it's not that bad. So I thought that would happen with Man of Steel. Like, okay, Man of Steel's not great, but maybe it's because he hasn't learned how to be Superman yet. Like, Man of Steel's literally his first day on the job. So, maybe he hasn't learned how to be Superman yet. And then every time I hear 2016 Dan saying, well, maybe Batman v Superman will make Man of Steel better, I just see the evil genie in the Wishmaster films just go, as you wish it. And then all I ever think about is that night we went to go see Batman v Superman. We all went to go see it opening night with our families and all of us. And then we got out of the theater and Tom says, my heart was breaking. I would glance over and watch yours and Josh's souls leaving your body after every scene in that film. And I'm like, yeah, we did. Yeah,
Dude, I remember halfway through that movie, I was like, I don't like this movie.
Yeah,
that's not how I should feel watching a Superman movie.
Like, I got excited for the Doomsday fight because I knew that was towards the end of the movie. Like, that's why I got excited for that fight. Like, I wasn't excited for the fight itself. Like, I didn't care anymore at that point.
Yeah.
I was just like...
I remember when they're like, they're not going to fucking kill Superman, are they? They're not going to fucking kill... Not in his second movie. When they killed him, I want to say, I was actually said out loud, like, you got to be fucking kidding me.
Yeah. Like, I don't care. I was completely checked out by that point in the film. Now, hell, the fight between Batman and Superman was just like, okay, the fight looks cool. And then when you put the fight in context, it's like, these are two of the dumbest men on the planet. Why are they fighting? These guys are so stupid. You guys saw my rant a couple days or weeks ago in the chat, right? I was watching Batman v Superman again. I'm sitting there going like, this movie's just like, every time I watch it, it just infuriates the shit out of me. And I
made the mistake of watching it too, and it pissed me off.
And I told Josh, I'm like, Josh and I went to go see Superman together last Tuesday. And I told Josh, like, I think I finally figured it out, how the plot of Batman and Superman works. At some point in time before the events of the movie, Batman got a lobotomy. And that's the only thing that makes sense. Like, Batman got a lobotomy. That's the only way the plot of Batman v Superman makes sense. It's because Batman refuses to engage his brain in anything other than murder. Like, I mean...
I didn't disagree with him.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah, and then that's why, like,
that's why you couldn't get excited about Superman 2025.
Yeah, because, like I said, Batman v Superman was such a massive disappointment. And then they never really fixed it. Like, we never got a Man of Steel 2. No disrespect to Henry Cavill. He looked like Superman. He looked like Superman.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, he looked like Superman. And he never got a good Superman script. He never got a chance to actually act like Superman. Like, Superman never actually shows up in Snyder's trilogy. If you count Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, and the Snyder cut of Justice League, Superman never shows up in any of those films. Just a guy dressed like Superman shows up in those films.
Yeah, I think you nailed it on the head there.
Yeah, and so when this movie was announced, I couldn't get excited for it. I was like, I'm curious. Maybe the right term is cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
If anyone's going to get Superman, it might be James Gunn. Because James Gunn can do it. But James Gunn, at this point, had never really done a A-list superhero movie or story. Like, he did the Guardians movie for Marvel, and I know the Guardians are household names now. Ladies and gentlemen, they absolutely were not household names when Guardians 1 came out.
No way. No fucking way. 2014, nobody knew who the Guardians was.
Yeah. No, Tom and I did because we actually read the damn comics.
Yeah.
But, like, no one knew the difference between Peter Quill and Groot before James Gunn did Guardians. And then he did The Suicide Squad, which was a much better sequel to Suicide Squad.
Oh, boy, yeah.
And it was actually a fun movie. Not a great movie, but a really fun movie to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did the Peacemaker TV show, which is, I think, phenomenal. It was really good. And then before this movie, I watched the animated series on HBO Max, The Creature Commandos. which was really, really good as well. And Creature Commandos actually takes place in this universe, in the DCU universe. So I thought, well, maybe James Gunn will do Superman right. I was cautiously optimistic, but I was like not hyped for this film at all.
Yeah,
I didn't
think
get
that's a common theme. I still remember that one point you were telling me about, what was it, the second trailer, whenever they started showing that one scene where Lois was interviewing Clark or Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Dan, you told me, it's just like, I got so excited when she's like Superman, and he was like, Miss Lane, and I'm like, I didn't feel it. Like, I didn't feel it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm glad you felt that way, but I did not. Like, I was watching that trailer like it was any other movie. Like I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of Fantastic Four. I watch these trailers and I feel nothing for this film. Honestly, I was reading reviews on RT today, and I was like, I don't give a shit if I get spoilers or not, because I have no passion for this film.
Same here. Like, I had no excitement for going into Superman. Now, the second trailer, I will admit, was much better. The second trailer for the movie was much, much better, and it got me a little excited for the film. It got me to the point where, like, okay, now I kind of want to see this. So I stayed away from spoilers for Superman. I actually unsubscribed from r/Superman and stayed off of some things, and even muted the chat on Star Trek Online, because I can't even tell you how many movies I've had spoiled for me in group chat on Star Trek Online. You know, I knew Han died in The Force Awakens 2 days before I saw The Force Awakens.
Same.
So I'm just saying, like, I wasn't super excited. So my expectations for this film was like, please don't suck. Like,
pretty much, right? It's just like, be a good film.
Yeah, just like if you were Iron Man 2 good, I'll be happy. You know what I mean? Like, just you don't have to be great. You don't have to be Captain America, Winter Soldier. You don't have to be the Batman. You don't have to be the Dark Knight. Just
be good.
Just be good.
So we didn't have expectations. We had the prayers of divorced men. It's
I'm meeting this woman for coffee. I'm like, please, can this one not be crazy?
I want to go back to what you were talking about, how, like, because I kind of mentioned a little bit my expectations too about Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
We could all agree that we were fucking over the moon after watching that movie, because I remember we had to drive to St. Louis like the next day, and all three of us were sporting Superman shirts. We'd spent the entire 6-hour drive talking Superman, about how amazing it was, doing mental gymnastics on various parts of the movie to justify how amazing it was. And keep in mind, we had only seen this movie once. And it's like, I feel like with that movie, every time I watch it, I find something wrong with it that I don't like.
It's Man of Steel has the opposite effect on me that movies like The Empire Strikes Back does. Like, every time I see The Empire Strikes Back, I see something else in that film I didn't notice before, and I'm like, wow, that is phenomenal storytelling. What a great movie.
And then I watch Man
of Steel. And then I watch
Dark Knight.
No, The Dark Knight too. The Dark Knight's
That's a movie I will watch time and time again, and every time I watch it, it gets better and better for me.
Yeah, or like we actually discussed this when we watched Die Hard for Christmas. When I said, like, I didn't notice before, but like every time an elevator dings, it means the stakes are about to be escalated in the film. Like, that's just like little subtle, awesome storytelling. And then I watch Man of Steel, and every fucking time I watch Man of Steel, I'm like, Zack Snyder is a hack.
Tell us about that one thing you were talking about where Superman was.
When I was saying, like, I was telling you guys I was rewatching the Snyderverse before this movie, and when I was watching Man of Steel, and I had only seen the trailers of 2024 Superman or 2025 Superman. I hadn't even seen the movie yet. But there's a scene in Man of Steel where Zod and Superman are fighting, and Zod kicks a tanker trailer towards Superman, and he just leaps over it. And then it goes behind him, and then it hits a building and explodes, and it blows the whole like top part of the building off. Or I mean, the front half of the building just explodes with this tanker truck, and Superman just jumped over it. And all I was thinking of was like, why didn't Superman just tank that hit? Or why didn't he try to catch the tanker truck? Or why didn't he just put his hand out and stop it? Superman jumped over it so he wouldn't get hurt, but didn't give a flying fuck if there was anyone in the building behind him when it hit him, or when it hit the building behind him. And also, he's Superman, so a tanker exploding in his face isn't going to hurt him. There had been other scenes in Man of Steel that had established just how invulnerable Superman was, so we knew as the audience the tanker truck's not going to hurt him. So
I would have like tangent off that a little bit, like, or piggyback, I should say. I watched Batman v Superman, then I watched Man of Steel. As I was watching Man of Steel, I'd already heard your rant on that, and there was a particular scene that stood out to me in Batman v Superman. That opening sequence when Batman is running into the city as Superman is fighting Zod, and then they have the lasering in the building from Bruce Wayne's perspective, and then the building collapses. Zod just like literally lasers the whole thing, and Superman's like, oh, the building's collapsing, maybe I should leave. fuck all. It doesn't give a shit that people are in that building.
Yeah, like that's why I say the entire Snyder trilogy, Superman doesn't show up. The fucking, which is one of the worst scenes in cinema I've ever fucking seen in any superhero movie. The Granny's peach tea scene in fucking Man of Steel. When the Capitol explodes, it literally explodes.
Yep.
Superman's standing there in the rubble, and he just looks around, and then he fucking flies off. And I'm like, even if Superman had thought, man, they probably think I did this, he would have still stopped to help people and make sure everyone's okay.
Dude,
he would have done anything he could. Like, even if you forgive the fact that maybe Superman didn't know there was a bomb in the building, which is fine, you can write ways that Superman wouldn't know there's a bomb in the building. You can encase it in lead or something like that. There's ways.
That was actually what they were in the ultimate cut. That's what they said.
Yeah.
But even then, like, this is what irritates me. In that scene, he would have been able to clue in that, oh my God, that's a bomb. As it's exploding, I feel like it would have been better if he would have, like, basically flown at the guy, blasted through the building. It would have exploded as he was flying up into the atmosphere, and it would have taken part of the building, and there would have been casualties. But then, from the outside perspective, it looked like Superman caused it. Not Superman, like, everything blew up, and then Superman's like, oh, this is a mild inconvenience in my life. This sucks.
The expression on his face, too, it's like, this is gonna take forever to dry clean now.
It's like when you, like, something happens at work or when you're working customer service and then a bitchy customer walks up, like 2 words in, they're like, this is gonna be a fucking Karen. I want to see your manager. That was his expression, and that's not Superman.
Yeah, exactly. He had the same expression on his face that I used to have when I worked in support.
Yeah.
When I worked in support, my shift ends at 6, and I get a call at 5:55.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's the same look of just complete inconvenience. Like, oh my God. God forbid I get out of here on time.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I wasn't even supposed to be here today.
Yeah, and that's what pisses me off. But going back on that was like, those 2 scenes just upset me and just made me realize that Zack Snyder just doesn't get Superman. And for anyone who wants to come at me and say, well, the Batman scenes were good. No. No, the trailer Batman scenes were awesome. When you watch that whole movie in context, he doesn't get Batman either, guys.
No. It's like, how many people did he kill in that chase scene? Like, seriously.
Dude, he puts the fucking tracker on the back of the truck, and then he drives through the back of the truck. What the fuck was he thinking? I agree with Dan. Lobotomy prior to the events of the movie.
Bruce Wayne in Batman v Superman refuses to engage his brain for anything other than murder.
And his mom.
That's it.
And his mom. He knows
you know.
Martha, did we just become best friends?
Yeah. But what I was going to say was those scenes upset me because I'm like, Snyder doesn't get Superman. He absolutely doesn't get Superman at all. And then I was watching the second trailer for Superman 2025, and I hadn't seen any of the scenes yet in the movie. Or, I mean, I'd seen the scenes in the trailer, but I hadn't seen the context of some of these scenes. But I remember there's a part in the trailer, which is in the movie, where the kaiju thing is attacking Metropolis, and it's about to step on some lady, and Superman swoops underneath his foot and grabs her, and then flies her onto the roof, and then just smiles at her, and then flies off. I'm like, that's Superman. He took the time to save that woman. It's not like he saved 10 people that were about to get stepped on. He saved one woman, and then when he put her down, he smiled at her in a way that smiles at her, reassures her, says, hey, everything's okay, I got this under control. And then he leaves. And I'm like, without even saying a word, I knew, like, James Gunn gets Superman. He gets it. He gets what the core of his character is supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know?
But when you've come from the Snyderverse and the Man of Steel, even seeing that in a trailer, like, oh, that's okay, but I still don't care because
like I even saw that scene. I understood. It's like, okay, yeah, that's more Superman-y. The whole interview scene that was in the trailer, I'm just like, I didn't care. Like, to have Dan check his fucking text messages leading up to Man of Steel's release 2013. Dude, we were texting back and forth, and I was just like, we got 45 more minutes! And I was fucking massive hard on the entire time. This movie, I think I was standing in line with my wife, and we were, like, about to check out at, like, Costco or some shit, and I saw something that was, like, a red, yellow, and blue, and it wasn't even Superman related. And I looked at him like, hey, we get to see Superman tomorrow. And that was it. That was the only level of excitement I had for this movie. With, like, the combination of cape fatigue and the disappointment on the previous Superman movies.
Yeah.
It was almost like episode 1 to episode 3 to go Star Wars. Like, we were super excited for episode 1, but by the time episode 3 came out, we're like, I'm kind of done with Star Wars. I don't need any more. I'm good, guys. I'm just
That scene made me optimistic that maybe the movie won't totally suck.
Mm-hmm.
But I still wasn't sitting there going, this movie's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see this film. It was more like, well, at least looks like James Gunn might get Superman a little bit. But, I still wasn't like super pumped and excited for it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like, the only faith I had in this movie was the fact that I don't think I'd seen a James Gunn movie that I didn't like.
Yeah, that was kind of my thing too. Like, I liked the Guardians trilogy. I liked the Suicide Squad. And
Super. He directed PG porn.
I love PG porn. That's hysterical.
It's like, in Gunn we trust. I think we jokingly said that during when we reviewed The Flash, but 100% agree. Like, I thought that's where I was at with this movie. I'm like, I don't have a lot of faith in a Superman movie, but I have a lot of faith in James Gunn.
Oh, the other thing that got me from the second trailer and the scenes in the movie too is where his dad is telling him who you are, the decisions you make is what makes you you.
Oh my God.
Okay,
yeah, but keep in mind
that was in the second trailer, and all I was thinking of when I saw that in the second trailer was, well, at least this Superman's Earth parents aren't fucking sociopaths.
Yeah.
I have thouts about that later, but go on.
Well, I was like, no, his human parents aren't sociopaths, and I know everyone bags on the Kevin Costner portrayal of Pa Kent, but honestly, his mother isn't much better because she's the one that has the scene in Batman v Superman where she's like, be their savior, be their monument, or be none of it. You don't owe this world a thing, Clark. Man, fuck you. What is up with you guys? What's wrong with you people?
They live in Kansas. That's what they live in Kansas. They have lost hope.
They were probably the most accurate Kents that grew up in Kansas that any one portrayed on screen. You guys don't even know. If you cannot come out of Kansas and be optimistic, I am sorry.
Yeah, Man of Steel parents were from Kansas. Superman 2025's parents are from Ohio. They have some hope in them.
Yeah, they got to see trees. More on that after the break.
Yeah, but I've cleared what my expectations are.
I think the expectations is about we didn't have high hopes for this film. We had hopes.
We had prayers, John.
Yeah. We had prayers. Prayers is more accurate.
On my planet, it means hope. Yeah, okay, sure. Fuck you, dude.
Like that was my expectation. Was like, just don't suck.
Don't suck.
If you land somewhere between Iron Man 2 and Thor 1, I'll be happy. I'll be happy. You don't have to be great. Just
one final thing that I have for this whole expectation. I think this levels it out for all of us, and I think all of us can agree is Tom, play the music.
There we are.
There we go. Bum, bum, bum,
And so, once again, the Enforcer brings the Guerrilla Gang's gruesome crime spree to a...
Bah, everyone think the Enforcer is so great. Well, he won't be so great once I unleash my giant Crashinator upon the city. Yes, once I kill their beloved hero, the people of the city will have no choice but to love me instead. Oh, Piat, what are you doing? Oh, you're not supposed to activate yet. Get back in the pod. Back in the pod, you lumbering lead-footed... Oh, there's anybody expensive! No, don't you dare! No. Sleep.
And welcome back to another heroic episode of The Fire Pit. I am, as always, your interspersal host, editor, and arch nemesis, Tom! And thank you for arching along with us here at The Fire Pit. We're taking a break from scheming our next episode of the podcast to answer the call to action. And what better way to answer that call than going up, and away with Mr. Truth, Justice, and the American Way himself, Superman. Will it be able to leap tall box offices in a single bound? Or will it drop like a kryptonite zeppelin? Tune in 5 minutes to find out. But speaking of the American way, let's go pay some bills with some ads. Capitalism! Yay! Yes, and if you act now, you too can take a chance on what they just told you to buy in those ads. Can't wait. But if you can't wait to take your product directly to the people, or if you have some movie recommendations that you can't wait to share with us, or if you've just been waiting for your moment to let us know that we're the best podcast named Firepit that you've ever heard, then feel free to email us at curtaincallentertainmentinc@gmail.com. That's curtaincallentertainmentinc@gmail.com. Just be sure to put Firepit in the subject line, as well as why you're emailing us, whether it's to purchase some ad space, see if we'd be interested in reviewing a movie or destination idea that you have, bring up any updates or news about future movie stuffs, and fly it our way. From there, we'll read it, place it in a space shuttle along with the last surviving child of a dying world, shoot it into the vast and indifferent expanse of outer space, and never respond. Seems like little Junior there kicked the message panel a couple times, and when you're strong enough to lift a tanker truck, it caused a couple, let's just say, corruptions in the file. I'm sure that the message didn't contain anything that would have caused us to call into question our motivations or turn the whole world against us. I mean, that'd just be silly. But that email again is curtaincallentertainmentinc@gmail.com, capital C, capital C, capital E, capital I, @gmail.com. I'm going to go unhoist myself from this latest petard. I'll let you get back to the episode. Thank you all for listening, and as always, good luck.
Izvomovich. I accidentally unleashed an unstoppable robot of destruction on the city. Again. I'll hold. Friggin' hate this guy.
So, gentlemen, we have just watched Superman 2025.
7 days ago, yes, you're technically correct.
No lies were spoken.
None. We are 100% truthful. So, final thoughts. Nigel, please lead us off.
Hated it. No, I'm just
Good.
kidding. No, actually,
We're done.
I did not. 100. Yeah, I had the exact opposite feeling with this film that I had with Batman v Superman.
100%.
In the sense of like,
Yeah.
I got out of Batman v Superman. I'm like, I don't want to see another film in this universe. Reboot it now. hashtag reboot it now. Like, I liked it. I genuinely enjoyed the movie. It did actually meet the expectations I had for it. I'm like, please don't suck. You know, like I said, if it would just entertain me, I don't know. You don't have to get to The Dark Knight yet, or you don't have to get to Infinity War or Cap the Winter Soldier, or, you know, like all those movies I just mentioned are sequels. This is supposed to be the first one. This establishes your universe. It just needs to entertain you, entertain and get them hooked, get the audience hooked and want to see more of this universe.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of things about this movie I really liked. And honestly, I can say this after watching the Snyder trilogy, or actually watching almost all of the Snyderverse leading up to this film. The colors in this film pop.
Mm-hmm.
From the green and Green Lantern's powers to the colors on Superman's costume to the way the Daily Planet looks, the way Metropolis looks. Like, it's a colorful film. It's a very colorful film.
Even the night scenes too, just to add to that,
Yeah.
like when they're fighting the fifth dimensional imp in the background at night,
Yeah.
you can see the thing. Couldn't see shit in the Snyderverse. Continue, Nigel. I just wanted to.
No. I just think it's colorful, and that's what a Superman movie needs to be. Because even Superman Returns is very drab looking. Even Superman's costume in Superman Returns is very muted in the colors.
Mm-hmm.
Superman, this movie was very colorful, and I loved that. I love that about the movie. And as someone who read Superman's comic books growing up, this is the closest I've ever seen to a live action Byrne era Superman's comic story. Like, especially the finale, because Superman's doing his thing and the Justice Gang is doing their thing and Mr. Terrific's helping him out doing his thing. then the Daily Planet crew is off by themselves doing their thing. If anyone's ever read like the John Byrne era of the Superman comics, which most Superman fans would agree that it starts with Superman the Man of Steel, which was the reboot of Superman after the Crisis on Infinite Earths. And the Byrne era, even though Byrne wasn't writing it anymore, that universe he set up kind of sort of ends when Superman comes back to life after Death of Superman. Like that's kind of when that ends. But so it kind of feels like that. It feels like that late 80s to 90s era of Superman, which is good. That was a good era of Superman. That was a very good, very well written, very well done era of Superman. And it also feels like a live action version or live action episode of the animated series, the Dennyverse animated series.
Yep.
You know, like I said, it's not a perfect film. I honestly think the 82 to 83% on Rotten Tomatoes is pretty accurate. I mean, 82 or 83% would be like a B plus in most grading scales. And that's kind of how I feel about this film. It's a B plus. It's not an A, but it didn't need to be. You know, I was hoping for a C minus, and it did give me a B plus, so I'm okay. Because Man of Steel is a D, and Batman v Superman is an F plus. And
Dude, you're being very nice on that one. Damn.
Well, no, Batman v Superman is an F plus, and
Still, yeah, you're being very nice, generous.
It signed its name. It got the minimum for spraying its
or
name.
I would say Batman v Superman is a DNC, did not complete, and then the Snyder or the director's cut of Batman v Superman is an F. So, like, yeah, you cited your sources and you told the story. This is still a bad paper, sir. So yeah, but no, going back on this one, I want to talk about this film. This movie, I was like, just be a C, just be a C minus, and I'll be happy. We haven't had a C minus Superman since Superman 2. And I was 1 year old when that movie came out, you know. But this was, like I said, I think a B plus is pretty accurate. That's a pretty good score for this film, and I think it's fair. So, like I said, there were things about the movie I really, really liked, but mostly just the color and just the overall vibe of that particular world. I want to see more of James Gunn's DCU. I really do want to see more of this universe. Like, I want to see this take on DC. So, but it feels like they're doing something different than Marvel. But it doesn't feel like the Snyderverse, where it's such an overcorrection of what they're doing with Marvel. Like,
I feel that. Yeah, that's a good way.
Yeah, because like the Snyderverse felt like, okay, we don't want to do what Marvel's doing, which is fair. You don't want to copy them 1-to-1, but like they overcorrected and went all the way in the opposite direction.
Right. If Marvel was supposed to be grounded instead of going, well, we can go higher. No, they're like, no, let's go deeper, lower,
angsty.
Yeah, so I feel like that's, is a way overcorrection of what they've done. But yeah, I can talk more when we get into group thoughts. Tom, what about you?
Oh, fellows, I have some words to say.
Careful what you say, Tom. Our friendship depends on your next few lines.
Well, Josh, Dan, friends, fire pitters, listeners, I have come not to stand Superman, but to critique it. And oh boy, do I have some critiques. I will start off, though. I agree with you, Nigel. This was a vibes film. I think you nailed it right on the head. This movie was all about the feelings of Superman. That sense of, like, this is the guy you want to have the powers of a god. You want this one to be saving you from kaiju axolotls and fifth dimensional imps. It feels like you're in this universe with this character in this comic book. It does that well. And as I said in my text to you both afterwards, I felt that this film was James Gunn writing a 2-hour thesis titled Why I Think Superman is Neat. And overall, I agree with him, B+. Not an A+ paper, but as a thesis, yeah, I agree with it wholeheartedly. Put it on the fridge. It makes me feel good. But as a movie, as a thing I'm paying full price plus concessions for, I've got some notes for you, Mr. Gunn. I'll first say that The Suicide Squad was better, only because Suicide... Hang on, I think Josh just died a little bit there.
No, go ahead. You're. I'm not going to say you're good, but go ahead.
No, let me finish my thesis here. The reason the Suicide Squad was better was because it only had to be better than Suicide Squad. So it could have room to be a story. This had to be a franchise starter. It didn't just have to be better than the Man of Steel. It had to be the beginning, the entry point of a bigger universe. So it didn't have a story. It was just these moments that are happening. Superman's doing these things. He's jumping from catastrophe to the next, which is a Superman thing to do, but he's not carrying his own movie forward. So I'm not getting that sense
Yeah, that was
of...
one of the critiques I had, but yeah, go on.
Yeah. So it just felt more like a sample platter for the Gunverse. Like, here you have the Justice Gang, which I love. Not to bury the lead, but I have some good things to add. But it just felt like, I have to do this, you have to do that. And it kind of also felt a little like, not its own story, but Gunn just looking at the stuff that came before, and basically it was a call response to the Man of Steel, the Snyderverse in general. It's kind of like, much like with the Suicide Squad, which was a call response to Suicide Squad. It just looked like Gunn was looking at this stuff that came before and said, okay, this is how you're actually supposed to do this.
Like, just to piggyback on your thought, that scene with him and his father on the porch or whatever, when his dad tells him who you are, the choices you make, that's what makes you you. I kind of feel like that scene was just very much like, okay, we got to make sure to tell everyone that this is not Man of Steel anymore. Like, this is Jonathan Kent.
If you hadn't figured it out by that point, you were live tweeting during the movie, being like, "This show sucks." Hashtag restore the Snyderverse.
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong, but I'm just saying, like, I was just piggybacking off of Tom's thought there. But you go on, Tom. Sorry to interrupt there.
No, again, so that's what it felt like. It was a response to that stuff, while also trying to be the start of this whole thing. And this feels like more of a cartoon. It's not just a comic book. It is more of a cartoon. Like, we could have taken this plot, like you said, Nigel, and put it into the Dinnyverse, or even my adventures with Superman, and it would fit perfectly. You wouldn't really have had to change much of anything. But honestly, that's another thing against it. It just felt like one of those DC animated movies, not even one of the ones that are based off of the really good comic books even. It's like the Batman Sub-Zero or the Justice League Doom or whatever that was loosely based off of the New 52 universe. It was fine. They're fine movies, but they're not great. If you're already a fan of them, you're going to buy them, you're going to like it, but it's not going to be very engaging. It's just there to distract you for 90 minutes. Like I said, this movie just feels like it has set pieces that Superman is carried through. I kind of like that Lex Luthor was just at the end a petty tech bro bitch, but even his big scheme wasn't that big of a scheme. When you're big, this is a job for Superman moment can be resolved by someone simply pushing a button, then it isn't a job for Superman. Super easy. Barely an inconvenience.
Which scene are you referencing?
The end. The pocket universe that Luthor created is coming in. And all they had to do was turn the knob. And it just went boop. Luthor was going to let it happen because he's an idiot, but someone would have turned the key and stopped it. It's like Indiana Jones at the end of any of his movies. He didn't need to be there. The problem would have solved itself. That said, I still had fun with this. I loved how, I'm going to piggyback on you, Nigel, the color scheme's great. I loved how, as things got worse for Superman, the suit got dirtier. I loved how Gunn handled the action scenes and how he handled the collateral damage. He understands that better than anyone of any of these superhero films to date. So in short, I agree with Nigel. I'll be okay with watching it again. I'll try to ignore some of the shitty dialogue, but that's my thoughts on that. Reginald, our Superman fan du jour. What about you?
I'm going to say this with as little bias as I can, but everything you said is wrong. This movie has some flaws. So I would have to say, if I was to be honest and give it an actual rating, 9.995 out of 10.
That's low for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wow, you grading on a curve?
Yeah. Well, Man of Steel was a 9.992, so you know what I mean. No, seriously though. I don't disagree with the 7.6 out of 10 that IMDb has for this film.
Mm-hmm.
It's wrong, but I don't disagree with it. I don't disagree with some of the stuff that people are saying about the movie. They're wrong, but I don't disagree with them. All your guys' gripes about the movie, I mean, they're wrong, but I don't disagree with you. The movie's not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that. And this is coming from a Superman fanboy. Like, I remember when I walked out of the film, my wife's like, so what'd you think? And my first words was, it's a little crypto heavy. I've never been like Dan. I've never been the biggest crypto fan. I always felt it was just like...
No, I've never been the biggest crypto fan either.
Really? I mean, like, that feels like something that you add for like Super Friends to, get the under 10 fan base. I never really felt like it had a place in a live action Superman. And honestly, that could have been part of my gripes with the trailers. I'm like, really? Crypto? Really? And I was worried, like, I didn't mention it in my expectations, but one of the things is like, I was worried it was going to be too busy. Kind of like the way The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was. It's just like, look, we'll talk about it later. Look at this. We'll talk about it later.
You mean Spider-Man? Oh, wait, you're talking about...
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
the second James Garfield movie.
Okay.
So it's like, I was...
It was Andrew Garfield, not James Garfield.
No,
he was
the president, the actual president was in The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Do you not watch? Dude, get good, bro.
Continue, Josh. I'm so sorry for interrupting you.
Dude, if you had a dime for every time we said the wrong name for something, like, you would be rich on this podcast. I don't know how many times we fuck up like Russell Crowe with somebody else. But no, seriously. I think the one thing that kind of got me with this movie was, okay, I remember I was sitting in the theater and it was cold. My wife was like, she wore shorts and a tank top and the theater was cold. And she's all like trying to like put her knees to her chest and try to like warm up and everything. And I'm like, I had this thought. I'm like, if she really wanted to leave, I would be fine with that right now. Like, we can come see the movie another time. We'll bring a fucking blanket or some shit. I'm okay. It's whatever. This is Thursday. I wouldn't be able to see it till Monday or Tuesday, right? At that moment, the opening keys to the Superman theme hit, dun, da, 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 da. And immediately my face was like, I had a huge smile, and I'm like, that bitch is freezing today. But like, seriously, the entire time I'm watching that movie, I was just like smiling. I was so captivated by this film. I'm like, this is the Superman movie I've been waiting my whole life to see. Somebody pointed this out, that the interview scene between Lois and Clark was 12 minutes. It was almost a tenth of the entire film. It was the longest continuous scene in the entire movie.
No shit. It did not feel it.
It didn't, right? When that scene got done, I remember leaning over my wife like, that was amazing. That was almost as good
honestly,
as that.
After that second trailer hit, James Gunn, I think, said in an interview that scene was like 8 minutes. The whole scene was like 8 minutes long or something like that. And a lot of people on Reddit were like, oh my God, that's just going to drag the movie.
Yeah, and it ended up being like 12. So it ended up being almost a tenth of the runtime of that movie. Like 10% of that movie was just that scene. But it did not feel like it was 10% of the movie. Like, it didn't feel like it was a tenth, because it was just the chemistry between those two. Like, I think the big thing about this movie was 100% perfectly cast. Every person in this film was designed for their role. Like, that was their entire life's purpose, was to be in that film. The story itself had issues, but fucking Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, fucking perfect.
Stole the movie for me.
Yeah. I remember reading in an interview, James Gunn was saying, it's like, we had to cast the perfect Clark Kent, we had to cast the perfect Lois Lane, and we had to cast the perfect, I forget the shipped name. You know how they merged the two names? So we weren't casting just two people. We were casting 3 roles. So we had to make sure that Clark was perfect, Lois was perfect, and the ship Lo Clark was perfect. So it's like they had like 3.
Oh, it's called Clois in the fandom. Fandom calls it Clois.
Yeah, but basically they said they interviewed like 3 Supermen or 3 Clarks and 3 Loises, and obviously Nicholas Hoult was one of those. And then they did like chemistry tests with all the combinations, right? And that was the best one, was David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan. And I'm just like, that one scene was just like, fuck, that felt like a legit back and forth between a couple. And then the way they got all pissed off at each other at the end, I'm like, that felt real. Like, that felt real, like, really raw. The entire fucking movie felt like that for me. It's just like, and then seeing Lex Luthor just go fucking atomic. Every scene, just fucking Nicholas Hoult. Best portrayal of Lex Luthor I have ever seen, period, bar none.
Yeah. You felt like this guy knew he was the smartest man in the room and would not shut up about it.
Here's the thing about the movie, too, that I think was my biggest takeaway. I remember there was a point towards the end where I wanted Superman to outsmart Lex Luthor. When he was fighting him, Superman was going to be like, oh, okay, he's yelling out these commands. And then Ultraman is responding. And then Superman was going to somehow have this like epiphany moment, and he was going to like change up the way he was fighting. And then he was going to beat Lex with his brain. And I remember telling that to my wife, thinking like, okay, this whole scene where he like calls Crypto to come save the day, I'm like, that was immediately after I said it was a little Crypto heavy, right? And she was like, yeah, but if he would have done that, wouldn't he have been a Mary Sue? And then I started to think about that. I'm like, that made sense. That's very true. Fuck you for coming up with that thought. I hate you. I'm glad you froze. No, I love my wife. But it kind of got me thinking about the movie. It's like, how many people have you guys asked, have you seen this movie? And then people are like, no, I haven't. I heard Superman's kind of a bitch in this one.
Well, I had one coworker that thought Superman gets beat up a little bit too much in this film, and I was like, I mean,
yeah, well,
I kind of,
let me finish my thought, because I think you're probably about to say exactly what I was going to say. I've had a few people tell me that. It's like, yeah, I heard Superman's kind of a bitch. And I'm like, can I spoil it for you? And they're like, oh yeah, that's fine. But if you look at the film, he never once gets injured by anybody other than his clone. And like, when I started to think about that, and that was one thing I was paying attention to when me and Dan rewatched it last week. Okay, does he get injured? No, the motherfucker gets stomped by a fucking kaiju and he comes out without a scratch. He goes up against like all of those raptors and he literally blinks and they're dead.
It's actually, that's why I said in my thought it was very much like the John Byrne Superman. Like, he fights the kaiju, his uniform, his outfit gets a little scuffed up, but Superman himself has no scratches or cuts or anything on him. Like, he's fine. Yeah. He's fine.
Like, I was listening to these two guys going back and forth. They made me feel old because they were in 4th grade when Iron Man came out. So I'm like, fuck you guys.
Well, that automatically invalidates all their opinions anyways.
Yeah. But they were saying, it's like, oh, could he take Omni-Man? Or could he take Invincible? Could he take Homelander? Like, specifically the 2025 Superman, right? Yeah. I'm all like, you have no frame of reference right now. The only person who could actually hurt him was himself. Yeah. There is literally no frame of reference. You don't know how strong he is. Like, in theory, he could be stronger than the Cavill Superman. He could be stronger than the Reeves Superman. But there's literally no frame of reference, because he literally was upholding a fucking kaiju and a building and didn't take a fucking scratch.
And throughout the film, it's like you get the impression that he's holding back. It's like he's trying to be delicate. Like, that building that's falling, he's trying to stop it and such. It's like you get the impression maybe he could have lifted it better, but that probably would have destroyed the building. So he's trying to be as delicate as he can in this cardboard world.
Yeah, and I honestly felt that. Like, I don't think that this Superman we've seen anywhere near his limits. But I don't know, the chemistry he had, even with the other characters, I thought that the movie as a whole, it was kind of like a James Cameron. You know, I always talk about how James Cameron films are, or the story may be a little weak, but the act, like, everything is like an 8.5 out of 10. Nothing is like too terrible, where some movies will have like an amazing story but shitty actors, or an amazing first act but a shitty third act. I felt like this movie, like, that's why I said, like, I don't disagree with the 7.6 out of 10. It's wrong, but I don't disagree with it. It's not without its flaws, but it's my favorite live action Superman movie. Like, I can't
of the 21st century.
All of them. I would even put this above 78 Superman.
Really?
Yeah. I guess I'm a detractor, but I am one of the people who think the 78 Superman is better than Superman 2. I think Superman 2 is the best of the sequels, but I think 78 is still better.
Well, again, as an introduction. Go ahead, Nigel.
Oh, I think 78 is better than Superman 2 as well. And that's both cuts, the theatrical cut and the Donner cut. I think Superman 1 is better than both of them.
But my one final thing, and then we can get into group discussions. I read somebody saying that this felt like a sequel to a movie, and I agree.
Yes.
100% agree. This felt like a sequel. This could easily have been Superman 2, and that would have been fine. But I agree with James Gunn in saying that we don't need to see Superman's origin again.
No. If anything, it felt more like a Superman 3 or a Superman 4. Because they said it's been 3 years since he showed up. And now this is like the third movie, and now we see Superman getting stomped.
Yeah. Dude, that's the other thing, too, that people don't really take into consideration. Oh, Superman got his ass beat, right? But literally, you're seeing him 3 minutes after he loses his first battle after 3 years.
He doesn't really fight a lot. He doesn't seek out the fights. His fights find him. He's trying to save people.
Yeah.
He's worried about the falling buildings and the collateral
And the
damage.
squirrel.
And the squirrel. He saved a fucking squirrel. Fuck you, Snyderverse, with your exploding buildings and like, oh shit, I just lasered that building half to death. Oh well, I'm going to assume no one's in that building because I don't see anyone in that building.
Or he doesn't care.
And that's why I like it. Can we all appreciate that they kept Superman kind of like, they kept people in focus through the movie. It wasn't just like, you're basically just watching two cats fight in an empty cardboard warehouse. But here it's like that scene where Superman saves the girl from all that exploding construction. And like a beat later, you see all that devastation that Superman couldn't stop fly into that guy's business and shatter the windows and nearly kill the guy. Mm-hmm. There's weight to all this action. That kaiju nearly burning the building if Superman hadn't been there to stop it. And he turns and looks at them and they're all like, yeah, we're fine.
Then he asks, are you okay?
Yeah. Overly Sarcastic Productions YouTube channel had a whole thesis on this called Superheroes in Empty Cities or an Empty World. And it basically outlines that whole like modern movies. They don't care about showing the people on the ground that the heroes are trying to save. This movie does that. It does that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I hope Gunn keeps that going. Show us on the ground. Like, this is when Superman shows up and he saves us. Like, why we need a Superman for this and why Superman tries to not fight this shit in town. Because holy shit, it's not just the billions of dollars of collateral damage, which holy shit, but it's the fact that that pipe could hit me next.
Yeah, and the same with like other things, like when he punches that kaiju and the kaiju starts to fall backwards into the building, and then Superman flies to the other side of it to catch it. And stop. Like, I'm sorry, but Cavill Superman would have let that thing go right through that building.
Oh yeah, 100%.
He would have put his hands to his side and go, there goes my PR rating.
No, he wouldn't even give a shit about that. I feel like Cavill Superman would have just been all like, he probably would have pushed him harder into the building.
Yeah, because, I got to make...
Now that's not a dog on Henry Cavill, by the way. Dan and I both agreed that Henry Cavill would have been able to pull this movie off perfectly, too.
Yeah.
Like, I would have loved to see him in this movie. But I don't know if he would have had the chemistry that Cornsweet had with Rachel Brosnahan, but he could have easily pulled off the Superman role in this film.
Well, Cavill looked most like Superman, minus the slick back, greasy hair, some such, which I never liked. Every Superman has a thing I don't like about him. The Man of Steel.
Yeah, dude, Cavill and the suit was just perfect.
It needed the shorts, but I'm 90% there with you.
Yeah, I could take or leave the shorts. The shorts have never been important for me.
I always have one thing wrong with the costumes. Although this film, guys, was the first time since the Christopher Reeves Donner Superman that we had the yellow S back on the cape.
Cape, yep.
Actually, it's the first time in live action since Dean Cain on The Adventures of Lois and Clark. Yeah, his Superman
since Quest for Peace as far as movies.
Yeah. I know that's a small thing, but for me, I don't know. It's just because it's like when you're going to get hit by the train or the car or the kaiju's going to blast a flame and you flinch and then you think you're dead, but you're not, and you look up and it's not just Thor's cape or any other 1,000 heroes with a red cape. That's Superman. You see that yellow S and you know you are safe.
Yep. I agree. I love that.
Yeah, I did. I liked the yellow. I really liked the yellow S.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, I remember we were saying it's like In Gun We Trust when we were talking about the Flash, and I gotta say that he delivered. I'm excited for the next Superman movie. I'm excited for this universe. Fucking, did you see the teaser poster for the new Supergirl movie?
I saw like he's bubblegum with the
yeah, and
smartphone.
it had the look up, but instead of up, it was crossed out and it had written in red letters like "look out." I feel like that just sets the tone for the entire film. And
yeah, and apparently this movie is going to be based on the Supergirl story called Woman of Tomorrow, where this Supergirl's got some demons. Because she grew up on Krypton and watched her planet be destroyed and was sent away to take care of her cousin, who then she finds out she's now technically younger than. So what the hell's my purpose in life? And she goes through a lot of like growth.
Oh, apparently, same thing with Hot Girl. Like the version of Hot Girl that they're doing is the one that like supposedly like is reincarnated with an alien who, but her human body had committed suicide, but she has all those memories or whatever.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So she's
it's I can't remember. She's the reincarnation of Shayera Hall. I can't remember the other Hawk. Honestly, we could do an entire podcast episode on the Hawk Girl and Hawkman.
Jesus, that's 5 years in a movie. Holy shit! Also,
just to go on, speaking of the side characters, this feels like the side characters had the Justice Gang. That was the perfect group of heroes to have in that group.
Yeah.
I think Guy Gardner is like in this film the perfect introduction to the Green Lantern Corps, because you don't need to know Guy's origin to understand like, oh yeah, he's part of the Green Lantern Corps. In fact, most comic fans don't know that. Well, not most comic fans, but like most people don't know. Like if you name all the Green Lanterns, the one that most people, even comic book diehards, know the least about is Guy Gardner. Like almost everyone knows Hal Jordan. And because of the Justice League cartoon, Jon Stewart's now very popular.
Yeah.
And Kyle Rayner has been Green Lantern since the 90s. So like more people know about those three than Guy Gardner. Hell, you probably know more about Kilowog and Sinestro than you do Guy Gardner.
Yeah. Outside of that one throwaway joke in was it Young Justice, where they were all like, what about Guy Gardner? He's a Green Lantern. And then James Stewart and Hal Jordan are like, no, we're good.
Yeah, and even Nathan Fillion at like it might have been the premiere or one of the press interviews, but Nathan Fillion's like, he goes, if you have a problem and you need the help from the most powerful police force in the galaxy, you need a Green Lantern. You want a Green Lantern to come and help you. So the Green Lantern Corps calls you back and says, okay, we'll help you. We're sending Guy Gardner your way. And you're like, it's really not that big of an emergency.
Was nobody else available?
Anybody else?
What about the squirrel? Was the squirrel there?
Actually, no, what? It's okay. We'll hold out till the other one's available.
By having Guy Gardner, it's like anyone else would be like, well, Jon Stewart could have solved this problem. Hal Jordan, yeah, they probably could have. Guy Gardner, fuck no. He's putting oven mitts on that giant kaiju because he's Guy Gardner.
Well, you can make an argument that probably Hal Jordan or Jon Stewart need their own films to kind of introduce them to the universe. But like Guy Gardner, Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific don't really need their own movies.
No.
They are kind of like the Black Widow and Hawkeye of the phase 1 of the Avengers. Like you can introduce them in other people's movies and then they come together in the big ensemble film. This is kind of the same way. Now, granted, these roles are a little more bigger than the Hawkeye role, but like still it's like, okay, now I know who Mr. Terrific is. Now I know who Guy Gardner is. Now I know who Hawkgirl is. The building blocks are there. And then these are characters that can not take the shine away from Superman. Not intentionally anyways.
Although Mr. Terrific was awesome.
I know, right? It's like this personality. It's like Mr. Terrific was the smartest man in the room, and you're goddamn lucky he's on your side because this dumbass bullshit, he is tired of it. Oh my god, that side look when Superman's talking about trying to save the kaiju, and he's just like, "You are just the dumbest." Christ.
Same with like the end of the film because Crypto destroyed his T-spheres when they got out of the pocket dimension. And then like the end of the movie when like he's like the code to stop this thing I can't hack it. He's like, well, Lex will have the code at LexCorp. Here, let me go get Crypto. We can go over there. He goes, you brought that dog, man. So fucking pissed. Like, just the way he says that. It's like, you brought that dog, And then Superman's like, yeah, I kind of had to. He was gonna, or I was afraid he was gonna.
And then he made him fly on Crypto at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Again, the characters have personalities and the movie has character. It's great.
Yeah, it's like I said, the interactions between the characters, the chemistry for everybody just seemed perfect. God, I still can't get over how much I loved Nicholas Hoult in that film.
Yeah, I will say this, one last comparison with the MCU. Iron Man 2 doesn't get the hate because the MCU after Iron Man 2 ended up being a phenomenal success.
Mhm.
We bag on the Amazing Spider-Man 2 for doing the exact same shit Iron Man 2 did.
Mhm.
Iron Man 2 just got away with it because the MCU was successful.
Yeah.
Trust me, Iron Man 2 is full of, look at this now, we'll deal with it later. Look at this now, we'll deal with it later. Amazing Spider-Man 2 does the exact same thing. And we bag on it because they never did another follow-up of that. So that universe failed. So I think if the DCU is successful over the next couple years, like Superman 2 is a good movie, Batman Brave and the Bold, or Batman and Robin, the names keep changing every couple of days. If another season of Creature Commandos is good, I guess there's a Green Lanterns TV show, a show called Lanterns coming out, which Guy Gardner's going to be part of that, and Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart and Alan Scott. Like they're going to have, like Alan Scott's going to have like a minor role in it. Like if these upcoming projects are good and the DCU is successful, I think we will look back on this film as like, oh, this was a good jump off point. You know, it's not a great movie by itself, but it was a good building.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, Iron Man 2 was not the best. Like, Iron Man 2 and 3, in my opinion, were kind of crap. And I understand what you're saying with Iron Man 2. The difference between that one and The Amazing Spider-Man is Iron Man 2 is very, like, casual in the background as they showed it off.
Mhm.
Like, you saw Captain America's shield. Yeah, okay. Then he put it up underneath his arc reactor that he was building or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like,
Yeah.
look at this, like, walking past it ominously and, like, holding on it for a split second, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. It was an
I felt
Easter
like
egg thing.
it
yeah.
was more in your face with The Amazing Spider-Man 2. And this one, I think, was more in line with the way Iron Man 2 did it. In that, like, okay, look, these guys are important. We're going to give them a little character. Stuff is happening here, but we're going to give you enough information where if you never hear about them again for the rest of your life, you're fine. It's like the Clone Wars line in Star Wars. They gave us enough to build a universe in our heads.
Yeah.
You know, it's like in the original Star Wars movie when it's like, you fought with my father in the Clone Wars. That right there was, it's like, okay, yeah, the Clone Wars happened from this era to this era. These are the key events in it. It's like they didn't sit there and tell us about it. They just like, you fought with my father in the Clone Wars. I felt like this movie was like that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like going back to like The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was very much like, no, this is what this is and this is what this is.
Mhm.
And it didn't give us that aura of mystery, you know? And I think this movie did that. I think it did that in spades. And I'm excited for this universe.
Yeah, but at least it wasn't Wonder Woman looking at a bunch of fucking YouTube videos on Lex Luthor's computer.
Yeah, God.
you know,
Yeah,
so-
again,
Dude,
the
that was-
ask
you know-
and respond to everything that the Snyderverse did wrong. This film looked at and said, not that, this is how. You want your Justice League?
Yeah.
Okay, they already exist, but they're not the Justice League yet. We haven't got there, but the template is there.
You've got to earn it.
And I did like how they stayed true to the characters in the sense of like Guy Gardner he's a noble guy. He'll do the right thing, but he's a dick.
Yeah.
He's always been a dick in the comics. You know, he's a hero. He always does the right thing, but he's a dick. And like when he says that, when that kid's basically praying for Superman, he goes, "Sorry, kid, Superman couldn't show up, but you got an upgrade." That's 100% something Guy Gardner would say.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Also, the constructs making the middle finger as he's knocking over tanks.
Dude,
like that.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan Fillion insisted on him having the bowl cut.
Dude,
They were actually gonna give him
the way
the
that they
crew
the movie was self-aware enough to call him out. Like Lois called him out, like, "What the fuck is up with that horrible haircut?" And he's like, "What? What did you say? What did you say?" I'm just like,
The haircut should be, when he said the haircut should be against your oath.
Yeah, maybe the haircut should be against your oath. Just having Guy made all the interactions so much better because every group has to have that one guy that if you weren't co-workers with them, you wouldn't hang out with them.
Yeah,
I
same
just
with
had
like,
a thought. I just had a thought about this movie. It kind of parallels with Days of Thunder.
Oh.
Remember when we were talking Days of Thunder and we all kind of talked about how Days of Thunder was all about the chemistry between the characters?
yes,
Yeah, this is similar. It's the chemistry with the characters that kind of builds the movie up better.
Mhm.
Like, the story itself wasn't anything to write home about.
Oh, no. No.
But everything around the story, the actors and everything is what made this movie. The
Mhm.
relationships, the chemistry, just, I don't know. the movie is amazing, and I can't get over on how much I enjoyed it, and I can't wait to watch it again.
So the fact that we're talking about this with excitement means that the Gunverse sample platter worked. I'm just going to say that. This movie may have been more vibes than story, but it's doing what it set out to do, which was you want more?
Well, there's our food analogy, so take a drink. But you're right. It's like we basically ordered an entree, and that entree had 3 or 4 samples of different appetizers.
Or maybe going
entrees.
to a restaurant on opening night, like we can see it was pretty good. We had a pretty good dinner, but they need to fix some things, just a few things in service, and this could be a full 5-star restaurant. That's kind of this film. Like, this film's not perfect, but you have the building blocks of something really good. You really do. Yeah. So if you just keep doing what you're doing, it'll be fine.
Well, you're wrong, but you're not right. I agree, but you're wrong.
All right. Well,
that does it for tonight's show. As a reminder, you can find us on firepitpodcast.com. There you can find links to Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, and wherever, fine podcasts like ours are sold. Regular episodes are whenever the fuck we decide they're going to release them. We're averaging 20 a year, so take that how you may. But please like and subscribe on whatever medium you choose. We appreciate that. So thank you again. And please review. It helps.
And also be sure to join our Discord channel as well. The link to that is in the episode's description on discord.me/firepit. There you'll get notifications of new episodes, and even better, you can engage in discussions with other fans of the show. Not us, though, because we're kind of busy.
We post there more regular than we would release episodes.
And also you can email us at curtaincallentertainmentinc@gmail.com. Also, like our page on Facebook. Facebook seems to be where we're most active. Discord, and we're getting a little bit better about being active on Discord too. So Josh, you got any shout outs tonight before we head out of here?
No, just shout out to my wife for being cold at the theaters and pointing out stuff that made me see the movie in a slightly better light. So thank you, my love.
I'm going to shout out me for going to the theaters to actually watch this. Also, I want to thank Gateway Theaters here in Columbus. When I ordered my beer for this movie, I asked for the largest size they got, and I got a bucket.
Oh, no wonder why Tom was more positive on this film than he would have otherwise
half gallon of beer. Yeah, that'll do it.
So thank you, Gateway. Even if this movie had sucked, you would have got me through. But thankfully it didn't. So it made it an even better experience.
I would like to shout out the Snyder Bros. Thank you for being so understanding, for letting us make fun of you throughout this entire review. I say this with all sincerity. It's dead. Get over it. Your best hope is that maybe the saga gets continued in maybe like a comic book or something like that. But it's not coming back. And even if this movie had bombed, and it's not going to, despite what some of you guys on YouTube are saying, it's not coming back.
Or maybe we'll hope for some No Way Home scenario in 10 years.
Yeah, maybe in 10 years they'll do a DCU multiverse and there'll be a couple of Snyder people make cameos, which is another reason why it's not coming back. Most of the actors and actresses involved have moved on. But in true shout-out fashion, I will shout out, obviously, Peggy, the OG friend of the channel. Thank you always for listening. Thank you for your support. Also, shout-outs to Rob and Danielle, our 2 biggest fans. It does not matter what I post on the Discord or how long it takes for me to post something, like whether it's days, weeks, months, or almost a year. They are always Johnny on the spot responding and liking whatever it is I put on Discord. So, shout out to them. We may only have 3 actual fans, but they are the 3 best fans in the world. I'm sorry, they are. So, yeah. And then a preemptive shout out to anyone that shows up for my birthday party on Saturday.
Oh, this Saturday! Woo!
My birthday was last week.
So that's the other thing, is happy birthday, Dan.
Thank you, guys. And we probably won't record before then, so we'll just go ahead and say happy birthday to Tom, because his is next month. So we'll say happy birthday to Tom.
Let's just go ahead and cover our bases, because we're probably not going to get an episode out before October.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Josh. Yeah.
Go ahead and say happy birthday, Josh, and a Merry Christmas to everyone at the Fire Pit.
And a happy Easter.
May your 2026 be as good as our 2025 was.
Better.
For those of you listening, I hope that Supergirl is really good and you just watched it last weekend.
Yeah, but no, in all seriousness, thanks to everyone who listens to the show. Whether there's 3 of you or 30 of you or 300 of you, it means a lot to us that somebody out there likes what we put out, no matter how infrequent it might be, because we don't make money on this podcast, so we have to do things that actually make us money. So thank you so much.
Then anywho, we just to let you guys know, we've got 3 episodes recorded for the next journey.
2
episodes. I forget how many. We started recording last September 2024, so we'll hopefully get those out this year. Crossing fingers, knocking on wood.
Yeah, it's all of our fault. See, we did the really stupid thing, and like Josh and Tom got kind of new jobs, and then I got promoted at my job, and because of that, in the words of Ray in the first Ghostbusters movie, we work in the private sector and they expect results, so we have to do our jobs. So that keeps us so busy.
And I travel like a lot. There was a 15-week period I was only home for 5.
Yeah, so like we love when we record and we wish we could do it more often. We wish we could go back to those pandemic era numbers, but it's just at the time it's just not feasible right now. But that's what these episodes are for. These episodes are for us to, hey, we watched a movie, let's talk about it, because that's actually what the Fire Pit used to be. The Fire Pit used to be a real life fire pit that we sat around at Josh's house and we just talked about whatever movie or TV show or whatever we watched, and now we're just sharing those conversations with you guys.
You lucky bots and listeners.
Lucky bots and listeners.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll have more episodes out, but if not, we are not quitting ever.
Josh has been working on Tom and Dan bots, so in the event of our inevitable demise, he's got contingencies. You think we're joking about this? I've seen the algorithm.
I do.
He's not lying. Are you our Lex Luthor or are you our Mr. Terrific, Josh?
Yes.
All right.
Until next time, I've been Josh.
I've been Tom.
And I've been Dan. Thank you for listening.
This has been a production of Curtain Call Entertainment, LLC.
Stay safe out there, you beautiful bastards.
Ba-ba, ba-ba.
After all, everyone knows that heroes shouldn't be concerned with things like casualties and collateral damage. In conclusion, no more colorful costume, no more smiling, no more saving the innocent, and most of all, no more shooting!
What was that? Wait. My car! Man! A giant robot just stepped on my car! Someone call an enforcer! I need a hug!